Good afternoon everyone, welcome to 30 St James's here in Liverpool ahead of our big show on Friday night, All or Nothing, Echo Arena. A huge night for a number of fighters here on the table. A huge night, particularly for two world-rated super middleweights from the city of Liverpool. Just to introduce everyone on the table, down on the far left, welcome to George Vera, Ivica Bakary, who's come in, will be fighting Tony Bellew on Saturday night. And to his right, a guy who I've enjoyed watching over the years, has mixed an unbelievable elite level against the likes of Julio Cesar Chavez, the first fight. I think most people believe he won that fight. Andy Lee, Craig McEwen, Zenzai Zinzeric, wins over Sergio Mora as well, a guy who's beaten a huge amount of talent in the super middleweight and middleweight division. Welcome to Brian Vera. To his right, a guy who we saw here at the end of last year in a great fight with George Groves, and that's the former European champion and WBC #1, Christopher Rebrass. On the home side, welcome to one of the top super middleweights in the world right now, Rocky Fielding, rated top 10 in many governing bodies, and a huge fight with Brian on Saturday night. Next to him, a guy who is fresh off a brutal 11 rounds with one of the top pound-for-pound fighters in the world, someone that's travelled all over the world to fight the very, very best, and I'm delighted to bring him back just a few miles from his hometown of St Helens, Martin Murray. Fresh back, not from an 11-round war, but from Hollywood and Philadelphia, the new star of the silver screen, and also a world title cruiserweight contender. That comes second these days, of course, Tony Bellew. And to his left, again, one of the top super middleweights in the world right now, current WBC #3, and fighting in a huge fight on Saturday night is Callum Smith. These guys are in very big fights and defining fights, a couple of them, on Saturday night. This city has been dominated over recent years by the likes of Tony Bellew and the guys who have been stalwarts and real strong faces of boxing in Liverpool. And on Saturday, these two guys, Callum Smith and Rocky Fielding, get a chance to headline this show themselves and really make a statement in the world super middleweight division. For Martin Murray, as I said, a guy who's travelled, the resume is second to none. A very close fight with Felix Sturm. Many believe he won that fight. Draw. A fight in Argentina with Sergio Martinez. Many believe he won that fight. I believe he won that fight for sure. A loss on points, and then goes in the deep end with Gennady Golovkin and gives him 11 cracking rounds in Monte Carlo. Again, it's a pleasure to have him fighting for Matchroom. It's a pleasure to have him on a UK bill on Saturday night. Rocky, again, this is a huge step up for Rocky Fielding. It's a fight for the WBC international title. He's highly ranked in the IBF, highly ranked in the WBA, and will now be ranked in the WBC with victory on Saturday night. We saw Rocky out last time, putting a fantastic performance against Noe Gonzalez. That was his first real fight at sort of fringe world level, and now he comes on against Brian Vera, who, we know what Brian Vera brings, which is all action every time. For Tony, last seen at the Echo Arena against Nathan Cleverly, putting the record straight there. Hasn't boxed since November. All the talk for Tony is, of course, the winner of Hernandez against Ramirez for the IBF World Cruiserweight title, and he fights Ivica Bakary on Saturday, who is actually a much tougher test than the original Lubos Suda, someone that's been the distance with some big heavyweights, Pianetta, fought Jonathan Banks as well, and Juan Carlos Gomez went the distance with him as well. Callum, obviously, one of 4 brothers who have been integral to the development of boxing in the city, and now really he stands to potentially surpass all of them in stages of their career right now. For Christopher Rebrass, I was at Wembley for the fight with George Groves. It was a great fight. A big, strong super middleweight, something that we haven't seen Callum in with because of his size. Someone's going to match him for size as well. Wonderful fight with George Groves. I remember watching, I think, the 4th or 5th round. Christopher rocked George Groves down to his boots, and I think it might be over, but he stood up to everything that George Groves has. And this is a fight that I believe will put Callum Smith up to #1 position in the WBC with a win. I'm going to ask some of the guys to say a few words at the table. Firstly, Martin Murray. Martin, obviously back. This was a quick turnaround after the conversation with us. I know you're excited about fighting in the UK.
Yeah, obviously. First of all, thanks everyone for coming. Yeah, I've been travelling around the world now for the past couple of years fighting, and you know I've always wanted to fight at home, and especially the Echo. And you know I've got a chance to show the super middleweights on Friday what I'm about. It's great signing with Matchroom. You know they're the best people about over there, and you know I plan on obviously having a big future at super middleweight. So looking forward to tomorrow, and not tomorrow, sorry, Friday. And just yeah, just getting the job done, and just you know it's exciting times for me. So yeah, thanks to Eddie and Matchroom, and you know just signing with this deal, and yeah, thanks.
The amount of conversations I've had since you've joined up with us, and the amount of fights that have been mentioned, I haven't even spoken to you about yet because I want to get Friday out of the way. But is it a case of going in there and looking good on Sky and just really getting the ball rolling, and then teeing up a much bigger fight in September, October? Do you feel pressure to put in a solid performance?
Yeah, I do to a certain extent. I mean, obviously, you know, coming off that last fight, stepping up to super middleweight, first time on Sky for a few years, you know, I'm going to be under quite a lot of scrutiny, really, thinking of it, because, you know, people's expecting me to do big things, and I know I can, but, you know, I always raise the game to the better opponents, and, you know, no doubt the lad I'm fighting is going to bring it, and, you know, hopefully he's going to bring a good performance, and you're going to see the best of me, so yeah.
Tony, obviously, you know, changing opponent a couple of days ago. I think we've all said this is a much more durable, much bigger opponent for you, and obviously back in the ring will be over 6 months when you step in the ring on Friday.
Yeah, it'll be 8 months nearly to the day that I beat the other fella over there last time, so I'm just looking forward to getting back to work and getting my whiskers cracked properly and for real this time, instead of them false ones that go swimming past your nose missed by a couple of inches in the movie. So this one's real. I've missed boxing so much, and I just can't wait for Friday night, to be honest. It's nice to be just dwelling under the undercard for once, you know. Listen, I know what it's like fighting top of the bill and stuff like that, and I'd never ever say it because I don't believe we have like top of the bills in Liverpool. I just think it's a gang of lads putting on a bill, and it doesn't matter who's fighting. No one's coming to see just one Scouser. People are coming to see the whole bill, and that's the thing that's so great in Liverpool. Everybody supports everybody else, and I'm just happy to be, you know, going under the radar this time for once, and not the spotlight and every damn interview. And is it about this? Is it about that? I'm just happy to just fight and just get the job done.
Is that a feeling with that kind of situation you'll get a chance to express yourself more and really work on the things you've been? I mean, Dave Caldwell, obviously your trainer now, has been so pleased with your progress. Might not have told you, but he told me.
Doesn't tell me, never tells me.
But just a chance to go out and show that on Friday.
Yeah, I can't express myself too much because I usually do stupid things. When I express myself too much, I'll do something daft. So I just have to keep my mind on the job, stay focused, listen to me coach, because when I listen to him and I do what he's trained me to do, then I always perform really well. So it's when I start doing my own thing, that's when things, you know, it hits the fan a little bit. You know, we've got little kids now, so that's when the stuff hits the fan. So I've just got to listen to me coach, use my brain, and get the job done. I know he's big, I know he's experienced, and we'll see. I've took slaps off some big guys in the past, and it looks like I'm going to take a few more on Friday night, but you know, he's going to take them too.
Brian Vera, welcome. I've been trying to make a fight with you for a long time with Banner Promotions and Artie Palula, number of our middleweights and super middleweights. Been a big fan of watching you fight over the years. Vacant WBC super middleweight title, ahead of a big fight on Friday. You've had a great camp, we know you're well prepared, we know you've been out in Australia as well, and we've been following your progress, and you're ready to go on Saturday.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me. Thanks, Eddie. Thank you all for showing up here. I'm very well prepared. You know, I can't fight middleweight anymore, so this is a perfect opportunity for myself and my team to mix it up with the super middleweights and see where I'm at. And I might take the guy lightly. I got prepared, so I'm excited about it.
I saw an interview with you yesterday talking about Rocky Fielding, and you know, you've watched him. Obviously not as experienced as a lot of the fighters you've been in with in the past, but certainly someone that's obviously well ranked in the super middleweight division. What kind of fight do you anticipate on Friday night?
I expect him to be prepared. He's a lot longer than me. I expect him to use his reach and things like that. But I talk with managers and I tell people there's no real Mexicans here in the UK, so that's what I'm gonna bring to the table, so put the pressure and try to put it back.
Obviously, your resume, you know, we talked about earlier, Zurich, Sergio Mora, Andy Lee, victory over him, Julio Cesar Chavez, the first fight in particular. I think, you know, most people felt that you won. Victory here, obviously, back in the world rankings in the WBC. A must-win fight for you on Friday night?
Oh, absolutely. This is why I came. I came because I have to win, and I feel like it's a perfect opportunity.
ROKCY, obviously, I think again this was an opponent that when I first mentioned to you over the phone, you just straight away said yes, and Oliver felt the same. A real coming out night for you on Friday in Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely. You know, when you said sent it over, I was happy to take it to fight the need now at this stage of my career. You know, he's a tough, good fighter. You know, he comes to win. So we put the pressure on every fight he's in. We put the pressure on, but I'm prepared for you know, a good fight. I've been sparring, you know, with Martin Murray. You know, no better sparring, experience-wise with Martin. So everything's gone great. But I'm happy I'm getting a chance to fight back in the Echo Arena in a good fight.
Obviously, he said that, you know, he's watched a lot of your footage, that you can't miss footage of Brian Vera on YouTube in so many great fights against so many quality fighters. Are you expecting, you know, the same Brian Vera, the pressure fighter, and just someone that's going to push you all the way? Yeah,
definitely. You know, as you say, what you see is what you get from Brian. You stay in your face, putting the pressure on, comes to win. But I've got a good game plan. I've got a good boxing brain, and I plan on exploring it on Friday.
From the injury, obviously, that you suffered last year, you know, you had the return in Hull in, I think, March. You haven't really had the run, perhaps, that many would feel that you'd need going into a fight with Brian Vera. You're confident, obviously, you know, that the timing's right for this fight?
Yeah, definitely. I went away in January to South Africa with Martin in a camp over there, so being around that camp was the experience I needed. And I've been over to Monte Carlo, sparring on Lee for 3 weeks. You know, world-class fighter. I know he's a southpaw, but being around that world-class, you know, it's moved me up a bit. But you know, I've been working with Oliver, technique, everything's gone spot on. So it's hard to put it right on Friday. You know, a fight I'm up for, someone that comes to try and knock me out, always ends up getting knocked out. So it'll be a good fight. I'm happy that he's here to put the pressure on, and you know, I'm right up for the fight, so I can't wait for it.
Great stuff. Christopher, just want to ask you, obviously, vacant WBC silver title. How's preparation gone? And tell us your thoughts on the fight.
Alors, il demande pour ce combat à la demi-finale mondiale WBC, comment s'est passé plus ou moins la préparation?
Bah, c'est très bien passé, on a pu bien se préparer, on a été il y a une semaine, 15 jours à Londres pour mettre les gants en serveur de sparring. Après on s'est très bien entraîné avec nos entraîneurs Jean-Louis et Marcel, et puis on est prêt et on a hâte de faire
He had a very good preparation. He came 2 weeks ago at London to do sparring. He did very good sparring. We trained very hard in France with his two coaches, me and Marcel Denis, and I think Christopher is ready as never.
Did you ask Christopher what he learned from the George Groves fight and what he expects from Callum Smith on Friday?
Against George Groves, he didn't fight like he wanted, because he was kind of I don't know, he was nervous, and he began his fight at the 11th, it was too late. So we did a very big work mentally to be in the fight at the first one.
I'll ask you as his trainer as well, what kind of a fight are you expecting from Callum Smith? Obviously, he's much more inexperienced than George Groves, but these are probably two of the biggest super middleweights in world boxing.
George Groves is not like Callum Smith. They are not the same boxers. It will be more technical than with George Groves. It will be more technique and tactic, I think.
Thank you. Callum, obviously, like Rocky, this was a fight that we felt was perfect for your progression, perfect to try and pick up that #1 spot in the WBC, and you know, beyond your fight on November the 22nd, definitely the biggest fight and toughest fight of your career so far.
Yeah, definitely, it's the biggest fight of my career, and but I feel it's the right fight at the right time. If I'm as good as I think I am, and I'm going to go as far as I believe I can, then these are the type of fights I need to be involved in and need to be coming through comfortable.
What do you take from the Groves fight with Rebrass? Obviously Groves was hurt in that fight. Christopher Rebrass soaked up a lot, of punishment, but a wide decision, but a very competitive fight. Are you expecting a cagier fight than that?
Yeah and no. I'd like to box my fight, but to say it's a good fight, will give Groves a tough night, and I made it competitive and made him work for every one of the rounds, and I'm expecting the same. I've trained very hard, I've trained for 12 tough rounds, and that's what I feel I'm in for.
Thank you. We're just going to pass over to Sky for a couple of questions now.
Yeah, you mentioned there, Callum, you talked about George Groves. Is it inevitable? Is this the collision course that we're waiting for?
If we both keep winning, then yeah, but my aim is to win a world title, not to fight George Groves. If he doesn't beat Bellew, then no, I don't really care. It's not in my sights. I believe he can beat Bellew. That's why there's a lot of talk of the fight. But as long as I keep winning, then I do believe eventually I will get a shot at the world title, and I'll fight whoever's there. If it's not George Groves, then I'm not fussed on fighting him. But as I say, he's fighting for it next. So if he wins, then I suppose we are on the collision course.
Given the fact that Groves was the last man to fight Christopher Rebrass, though, is it in your mind to make a statement?
I aim to impress every time I fight. I don't compare myself to other fighters. I've got out there to do a job and practice what I've worked on. If I beat him comfortably with George Groves, then it's a bonus. But again, it doesn't really mean too much. I aim to win and win convincingly, and I feel that's what I can do.
Tony, if I can ask you just quickly, you mentioned the fact that you're looking forward to being under the radar. I think it's fair to say for this one. What is at stake for you then on Friday night?
He's massive, he's big, and he's going to try and take me head off. That's what's at stake. My health's at stake, and getting on to me three kids now, that's what's at stake the most. So every time I go in the ring, I treat every fight seriously. I'm prepared as best as I possibly can. So everyone knows that the carrot is well and truly being dangled in front of me once again. It always is. Every time I fight, there's something being dangled in front of me. This time it's Hernandez, or it's a world title shot. Last time it was the same. The carrot that was being dangled was revenge, and before that it was that I can get the chance to get revenge. So there's always something being dangled in front of me. So I'm always fighting for something, but ultimately I'm just fighting to get home on Friday night to the 3 kids that I've got in the house, and I'll do it. And believe you me, he'll feel it too. So I don't care how big people he's fought or how strong he is. When I hit him, he's going to feel it. You look at the reaction on his face when I land for the first time, he's definitely going to feel it. I can absolutely promise that. Whether he carries on feeling it is up to him. But I promise you now, when I hit him clean for the first time, he's going to feel it. And I just can't wait to see the look on his face. That's about it.
Martin, we heard Tony speaking about the gang of lads from Liverpool. You're all in this build together. I mean, how much of a privilege is it for you to be among the group and on Sky Sports?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Obviously, like I said, me, I've always wanted to fight at the Echo, and me fighting here on Friday, it was just something I've always wanted, and obviously I'm excited about it, and all the lads are as well, all my supporters there can't believe that they only have to travel 10 minutes to come watching me. But I mean, they used to queuing up for hours in airports and all that, so the fact that it's just down the road, it's just, it's just brilliant, and the fact that all these top fighters are on the bill as well just makes it even better.
And Rocky, for you, similar question, but how important is that home support on Friday?
Yeah, it's a massive, you know, when you're digging in the last few rounds and the crowd gets behind you, it pushes you up. So no better feeling than fighting in front of your own crowd, especially at the Echo, the big arena. So I'm looking forward to it. First time in 5 years in the same card as Martin, so we train together. So it's his support me and mine support him and the rest of the lads. So it's good that everyone sticks together.
Thank you.
I say we all come from the amateurs together, and it's great to see that everyone's on the same bill. I say we all support each other. A big thing for me is that we've all represented, not being away with Martin, you know, representing England and stuff like that, but we all come from amateur backgrounds, and amateur boxing needs the support and funding of this city and the country all around. So, you know, they need to get behind it and help it. We're products, me, Callum and Rocky are products of Rotunda ABC, one of the best amateur clubs in this country's ever seen. So like I say, getting behind it and making everyone much more aware of amateur boxing and how much it helps people is a massive thing, because without amateur boxing, all of us wouldn't be here. None of us would be doing nothing, and we'd probably be, you know, grafting our nuts off in 9 to 5 jobs every day, because I know I would be, you know, back in the pillar facts if it wasn't for the amateur clubs. So I'd just like to get that out there. All the amateur clubs need help, and it needs to be put more out there for the kids. That's it.
Well said, Tony. On the card as well, talking about young Liverpool fighters, a packed card on Friday night. A great fight that's going to kick off the TV coverage is the English light welterweight champion Tommy Martin against Liverpool's Terry Needham over 8 rounds. The prize fighter champion Tom Doran is also in action. The former Commonwealth Games gold medalist and also 11-0 professional Callum Johnson, Joe Tonks, Marcus Morrison. It's an absolute packed card starting from 5:30 on Friday. So tomorrow will be the weigh-in at 1 o'clock, Liverpool 1, just outside the Hilton there, open air. Hopefully the weather holds up, and we look forward to a great night on Friday. Come down and enjoy it, especially these 2 cracking main event fights. It's going to be very, very exciting. And we're going to clear this table, we're going to have a group shot and then one-on-ones with all the guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you.